Hi, I'm Randi Altman. Welcome to NAB 2014. We're here at the postPerspective booth, and I'm here with Assimilate Steve Bannerman, and we're going to talk about Scratch 8. So there are 3 key points that I know we need to really get into. So do you want to start with
Well,
you pick.
With one of the coolest things,
Okay.
right? So we actually have acquired a license from Apple to deliver ProRes encoding in the Windows version of Scratch. And this is a holy grail that a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. You no longer have to install sort of reverse engineered solutions like FFmpeg and things like that may or may not work. You get the real McCoy licensed from Apple in Scratch or Scratch Lab. And of course, Scratch Lab starts at $50 a day for rental. So, for very little money now, you have an opportunity to encode real live Apple ProRes on Windows.
And that's a big deal because they don't do that with everyone, right? I mean, this is...
No, the majority of, look, I don't want to speak for Apple, but the majority of what we see around the industry is either turnkey solutions that are hardware-software combinations or licenses that are tied to Windows Server. But with Scratch, it just requires Windows 7 or Windows 8, and it's just a software-only license, and we're ecstatic that we were able to get that. So we're really
deal,
stoked.
yeah, absolutely. So what about DeckLink? You want to talk about DeckLink?
Yeah, so that's another interesting thing, is that we now support the Blackmagic DeckLink solutions, either the DeckLink cards or their 4K Ultra Studio solution. Mm-hmm. And this is really pretty important for our users because there's a lot of folks out there that wanted to be able to run Scratch or Scratch Lab and Resolve on the same system. And before, we supported SDI solutions from, the other folks, HAA and Bluefish 444. And so now with the DeckLink support, folks can run Scratch or Scratch Lab and Resolve on the same system and switch back and forth between them and use the different apps for the things that they like best.
So giving them all, because people are working that way now. They're working
That's
with
right.
different tools and creating their own workflows. And
yeah, it's pretty hard to sort of carry a business card around that says I'm an editor or I'm a colorist or I'm a VFX artist. People carry a business card around now that says I have all the tools and I'll do whatever you want. Right?
That's right. And they're being asked to do it.
Yeah, freelancers need to be able to do that to make a living these days. And so it was important for us to give those folks as much flexibility in the options for using the tools, the options for buying them, like rentals allow you to pay only when you're using them, those kind of things to really enable that class of customer.
Well, I'm going to ask you about that in a second. How can people get the Scratch tools? Can you talk about subscription models?
Yeah, so we offer the most flexible ways to acquire our products, right? So you can rent the Scratch Lab for $50 a day. The full Scratch DI system is as little as $150 a day. You can rent by the week. You can rent by the month. We have an annual subscription. A Scratch Lab is $995 a year. Scratch is $5,000 a year. Or if you really want, you can buy a permanent license. But most people aren't doing that anymore. Most people really like the flexibility of being able to pay as you go, and they like the flexibility of the subscription model.
Yeah, because they can keep their overhead down.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's really no sense in owning a permanent license for most people. There are some facilities that still want that asset, and we can certainly accommodate that. You can buy it on our store just as easily as you can rent. But I got to tell you, most people today are opting for the more flexible models.
Yeah, that makes sense. One other key point to Scratch 8. Red GPU debayering.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. So Red has updated their SDK to allow GPU-only debayering of footage, and we can do epic footage or below in real time, full res, right? You still need a Red Rocket card to do the Dragon footage in real time, full res, but we can debayer, for instance, on the new Mac Pro with the dual AMD GPUs, we can easily debayer Red footage in real time without a Red Rocket card now. And so I know that Red Rocket cards are sometimes challenging for people, right? Because you can't always buy them at Fry's, and so if one fails and you can't get your hands on one, does that mean that your whole production is down? Well, Red's done a fantastic job with updating their SDK to give vendors like us access to being able to debayer those files using only the GPUs. So we're showing the Mac Pros. Debayering Red stuff, and we've also got in the Max Digital booth an HP Z820 with dual NVIDIA K6000 cards doing the same thing, debayering in real time up to 5K, and it's fantastic. So yeah, kudos to Red for that.
Anything else that's in Scratch 8 that you think is important to mention?
So the one other thing that we announced today was that we have partnered with several resellers in North America, folks like the Studio B&H, sure. Max Digital, Keycode Media, and Skytech, to deliver scratch-based turnkey systems that are 4K capable, completely 4K capable, for the price of 2K systems. So for what you were traditionally paying for a 2K system, today you can get a full-blown, no excuses, no compromise 4K system. And so, it's based on, HP Z820 CPUs, NVIDIA K6000 graphics, and Fusion IO storage.
So it's fast.
And it's fast, and all of the vendors kicked in to deliver an amazing price point on these systems. So, yeah.
Steve, thank you very much.
My pleasure, as always. Love seeing you.
Yeah, same here.
All right. Until next year.
Yes, we'll be back next year. We'll be back soon, but next